from tax lawyer to advertising industry, high-level executive, how would you contrast the two jobs?
You know, they're not too dissimilar if you think about it. Our business right now is about talent and servicing clients and the consumer. Tax lawyer, I was dealing with clients, and the insurance industry was the same way. So it was very similar, and it all takes a business perspective of looking at the business and dealing with people. And so there are similarities in terms of the issues that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Interesting. Now, in every successful executive's career, they've had one major accomplishment that they remember as one of their finest moments. Now, notwithstanding, you may have a few more coming.
Right.
What was the best?
Well,
as you look back?
You know, it's an interesting question. I have to put them in two different perspectives. One is a personal accomplishment, and that has to be my family. I've been married 46 years. I have 7 grandchildren, and given the career that I've had and different responsibilities and all that, it's amazing to be able to do that. So I kind of view that as one of my great accomplishments.
Absolutely.
And the other, I think you're right. I'm still working on it. I've had a few. I mean, you know, we went through some very difficult issues at the Mutual of New York. Basically, was on the verge of bankruptcy and turned it around and became one of the great success stories in the insurance industry. And now we're working on IPG, and I kind of view IPG as, frankly, from a business perspective, hopefully the best accomplishment, and that is taking a company like IPG, who was faced with some very difficult issues, and we're pretty close to, we've still got some work to do, but what we've been able to accomplish in the last 9 years has been amazing. So we're working on that one.
Now, again, looking back, just about every successful executive has had major setback of some sort. So the question is, what was yours, and how did you deal with it?
You know, again, from a business perspective, it had to be when I was running Mutual of New York. We were on the verge of actually having a run on the bank because the real estate industry was having a lot of problems, and insurance companies invest in real estate, and the liquidity issues of the insurance company was at issue. And another competitor of ours was Mutual Benefit Life. They had just gone under. So the New York State insurance regulator was looking at us, thinking that we were going to be next, and I was called down with the New York State insurance regulator, and basically we were on the verge of turning the keys over. So I wasn't feeling real good about that. Not that I created it, but I was under my watch that even though I was brought in to fix it. And I remember talking to him, and I said, well, here's the deal. I can either give you the keys, and you know, we tried, or you can just leave us alone and we'll fix this. And so I turned what was a disaster into a great opportunity. So, you know, it's both at the same time.
Well, what's interesting about that is it actually becomes one of your greatest accomplishments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So, but what do you have to draw on inside to fight through those times?
You know, it's a competitiveness in you. I mean, people who are successful in anything, whether it be sports or business, you have a competitiveness and a drive that's in you that you want to succeed, and you do whatever you can to make sure that's what's happened. And you have to keep a level head about it when you're facing it, because otherwise, if you don't do that, people are looking to you to be the one who's going to be able to get them out of this, and you have to show that you're in charge and you're ready to take on that kind of responsibility.
And make it happen.
That's not that complicated.
Right. So as you look back over your career, was there one individual that you could call a mentor or someone that had an effect on you that still guides you in some way, shape, or form today?
Well, I have to say my parents. My father was a lawyer, my mother was a bookkeeper, which is how I became a tax lawyer. I didn't want to insult either one of them. So I was a lawyer and I was a CPA. And frankly, my mother, her work ethic, it was amazing. And so I always had that guiding me. And then in business, I had a lot of great mentors. I was very lucky about that. Even when I went from changing careers, I had different mentors in each of those careers. And I worked, when I left Coopers and Lybrand, I joined a company called American Can Company, and the leader of that company was a fellow by the name of Bill Woodside, who was a legend in terms of, it was a Dow Jones 30 company, but he also had diversity and inclusion as his agenda item, and charitable giving as part of a corporate environment. So I always have taken that with me. So I think part of what he showed me has lasted through all my different careers. I worked with a legend of Wall Street named Jerry Tsai at Primerica. So I've been very fortunate to have great people. And then when I went to the insurance company, I worked with a guy named Jim Farley, who ran Booz Allen at one time. So I've been very lucky like that.
Well, I find it really rewarding personally to hear you talk about your greatest accomplishment as family, because I believe that to succeed in business and to fail at home is to fail completely.
Right.
So it's good to hear that.
Thank you.
Now, as you said earlier, competition today sometimes is not for business, it's more for talent. And so when you talk to young people that are considering what they're going to do, why would you entice them to come into our business today?
It's my experience. I have different businesses. So I went from tax lawyer to an insurance executive. I was an accountant while I was in college. I was working part-time. So I've had different experiences. And what I find about this industry, it has the best highs I've ever experienced in my business career. And it also has the worst lows. I wasn't fired very often in my career, and there's nothing more. I take everything personally, okay? Even if I had nothing to do with it, I take it personally. And so this industry brings out, the best and the worst in relationships. But it's exciting. And to be surrounded by talented people who can do some amazing things from a creativity point of view and really make a difference in their work. Is just an exciting place to be. And they're young people, they're really interested in doing great work. And frankly, the financial rewards from it is pretty good when you get to a certain level. So I think this industry has tremendous opportunities for young people.
And if you were to give them a piece of advice once they land in our industry that would help them achieve some measure of the same success that you've enjoyed, what would it be?
A lot of people ask, young people, when I talk to them, the advice has always been consistent. Always associate yourself with good people. If you find yourself in an organization that you feel is doing something wrong or has an ethic that you're not comfortable with, move on. And the other is to keep your head down and pay attention to what your job is. Don't worry so much about your next job. Don't worry about someone else's and what they're doing. If you keep your head down, if you're with a company that you're comfortable with from an ethical point of view and people point of view, success will be recognized. And just keep your head down and do what you're supposed to do and do it well. And focus and be competitive.